Hi there. I am Kathy Freeman with Kathy Freeman Art, and you can find me on the web, kathyfreemanart.com. I work with a group of women. I teach them, encourage them in creativity and helping them to build their confidence in what they're doing and expand their knowledge as far as art is concerned. Now, I want to go ahead and talk a little bit today about renewing ourselves. I call it creative renewal. And it's when I take a little bit of time just for myself to create for myself. I am constantly creating for the students that I have in my group. And I love doing that, but to just sit down and not have to worry about a camera or anything else going on is a really great time that's just for me. And so I wanted to take you through a few things here to emphasize the importance of just taking a few minutes each day. You know, one thing that people have asked, they said they almost feel guilty and taking time for themselves. Or I think more importantly in this stage of life, because for myself, children are grown. It's more about, am I checking off a list? Am I really getting something accomplished today? And that tends to, for me, who likes to be really productive, that can be my stopper, my hindrance from really spending some time creatively to renew myself and to help me feel very calm in anxious moments. Now, one thing I want to bring up that's coming to my mind just randomly right now is if you're creating, have you ever been creating and you're doing something and then all of a sudden you just find yourself, well, number one, you'll find yourself maybe relaxing, but maybe you'll find yourself yawning. I will find that periodically as I'm working, especially if I've been under a lot of stress or dealing with some stressful situations. And all that's doing is it's releasing all those emotions, those stressful emotions that are being stored and held in our body. And it's a great way to just get them out and relax. So call this artful meditation if you want, art yoga, whatever you want to. I just call it renewal, whatever, and spend a little time doing this. So let me show you something that I just did the other day, and I'll walk you through how I did this. This is a just in a easy little pad that I have. It's a mixed media pad. It's a 4x6, not very large. I like to keep them small because the larger you have, then of course more white space is there for you. You feel this pressure of filling up all this space, and your mind, the left side of your mind, starts thinking, well, what am I going to do? Or what? I don't have any ideas. That can be a number one hindrance right there. You know, gals, that will really stop you right away is when you're looking at that paper and you're like, I just don't know what to do. So then you close it up and you put it away and you think, I'll do this later because you don't know what to do. So let's step over that hurdle and take you through a little process here. This whole back thing is watercolors. It's watercolors. I've used a little bit of acrylic. This is a metallic acrylic up here that I just was playing with and adding. And to put this on, the fun way to do that was I had a stencil and I thought, I'm just going to play with the stencil and see what happens. So I used this particular side right here, laid it down. And as I laid it down, I used my water soluble crayons here and the Neo 2s and used a few of these colors. I always love to use these two complement colors. For me, it's the hot pink and the lime green. And I just used my template and added those. And then once I did that, I went over into another area, added a little more. And then I came back with my brush and added some water to it and just watched it start to flow, and it was so wonderful. And these colors really sing to me. When I look at this just is joyful. It just makes me so happy. Let me put my hand over so you can kind of see what I'm talking about there. I'm talking about these beautiful pinks and greens and yellows. Well, then the left brain always likes to have, the right brain can create and just flow. It doesn't necessarily have to have a direction. It can easily answer and be comfortable with, well, I don't know. I'm just doing something. I don't know. But the left side wants to know what's going on. It's got to put some kind of meaning, some kind of like label, tag, whatever you want to it. It's always going, well, what's happening here? What's going on? And so a way to satisfy both is to use some images that can become your focal point. And those focal points, I've just made several here the other day that I was playing around with on watercolor paper. Some of these little images, fun little flowers, little green twigs, etc. And I'm starting to create myself a little pile. So when I do these kind of projects, I can go to these images and see, well, do I want to use maybe that? And that gives me some kind of a focal. It doesn't always have to be an image. You can go in and start writing, and that satisfies the left side of the brain because the left side, like I said, wants to have some kind of purpose, some kind of meaning, something added to it. And I added a little couple of verses here, lines of scripture that I had come across that I liked the meaning of it, and I wanted to record those. And so that satisfied the left side of the brain. So let me summarize this little short video here. Oh, and before I forget, this right here is fabric. I had a piece of it sitting around here, but this is a really sheer, beautiful little fabric right here. You can see that. And then this was a fabric underneath. So I was just playing with all kinds of things before I added on my focal point. I wanted to just experiment and play. And that, I think, for us as adults can be one of the more challenging things, is to allow ourselves to pull something out. I pulled out some of this washi tape to adhere some of it down. That can be the hardest thing for us as adults, is to give ourselves those moments of where it's non-productive, it's just play, and to feel comfortable with that. So I want to encourage you to take those 15 minutes and 15 minutes each day, 15 minutes maybe every other day. It doesn't have to be every day, but at least once a week, so that you can, because the purpose of this is it helps to pull up some of those emotions that are really tightening up our muscles and holding, that we're holding back and that we're just kind of sticking in the back of our brains. It helps to just give an outlet for that and to release that and to really feel some peace in that. Um, let's take a second here while I've got you and play for a second here. It'll be kind of fun. You can see as I'm doing it. I'm just going to pick up a brown. I normally don't pick up a brown, but I am using these because I had them on my desk. So every time your left side wants to know, well, what are we doing? What are we creating? You say, I don't know. I don't know. And you just put down color and play with it. Use lines, use shapes, use color. Use those three things right there and just tell yourself, I'm just going to use lines, shapes, and colors and let things flow. And it's really interesting as I start to do this for myself, then of course images do start to appear in my mind. I'm like, oh, that kind of looks like, something. That looks like something. Isn't that how creativity works? You just start going and all of a sudden thoughts come. See, you're just letting go of it being something's particular, something specific. You don't know what it's going to be. And this is the message to keep saying to yourself, we're going for practice, process, not perfection. Okay. I'm going to take, and I did to start to form those in my mind. They look like trees. And I was like, well, I'm going to make those into trees. Grab my water, paper towel, and my brush. And we're going to start to let those flow a little. And it softens up those edges. That water. Get that on the paper there. So move that down. What I'm going to do is grab an old envelope here. That'll help so that as I go down, I can go off the edge and not be concerned about that. Like I said, this really has no, there is no purpose. This is just mindful. You're just creating. You're not looking to create something specific. You just play with the colors. Because our whole goal here is to renew. Let's bring that pink in. Isn't that fun? All right, I'm going to add some more colors to this here. I'm grabbing this blue up here. And I'm thinking, even though my mind is thinking, I'm going to keep it to line and shapes. We all know what that signifies, doesn't it? But just go with what your mind's thinking. See what happens. Spread those out a little bit. Bring it up. Need some yellow in here, don't we? I love the color yellow. It's like I love this color of green. So I hope this is just kind of giving you the idea, the thought of pulling out your colors. It's so fun to use. These Neo 2s, because hit them with water and they really move and flow. Right. Now I have a dryer around here somewhere. Well, I'm not sure where the dryer went. So that's all right. We will just let it dry by itself while it's wet. Let's add a few other colors while it's wet. Going in for a red on my watercolors. Go back to the yellow. And bring that in over. Get these really pretty colors in there. Oh, that is super fun. Wish I had my dryer here right by me. But I do not. I'd love to dry that and then show that. Anyway, I can post it. Something like this might be fun when it's through. If I needed to put, I will use words for this. This is what I'll actually do is I'll put words up in here, but you can always post a little image if I wanted that. I think these little whimsical flowers would be interesting to add to it. Just because it almost has kind of a oh, I can't think of the writer right now that went to my mind, but these kind of has that feel to me. Let me add some more. This has gotten washed out, so I'm going to add some more of this to bring it back out. Now your critical mind is going to step in and say, what is that? What have you done? That's not. But remember, it's not about creating a masterpiece picture. It's about just there. And I'm going to stop at that. Let that dry. Okay, and your final step would basically be either put some words to it, a quote that you like, write a story about it. Maybe put down a few words that you see, list the colors. If I was to write something, I would probably write something that talked about the sunset, on a glow, fiery glow of sunset. It almost looks like a little bird to me, as the bird perches on the tree. I don't know, just something fun. Who cares, And then that would satisfy both sides of the brain. And as you bring those together, it relaxes. You can have a great, just take a deep breath, relax, and then go on to something else. All right. Thanks for joining me on this little video here. And you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Stay creative. Enjoy creating and sharing it with the world.